Today's podcast is brought to you by the Herzog Foundation. Over 65% of American families own pets. In fact, moms, as we know, many pets are considered an additional family member, an important part of our family life. But as we have experienced over the last 4 years, the U.S. economy has taken a nosedive. Many families have had to surrender their pets to shelters. Lori Simmons, founder of the Big Dog Ranch Rescue, joins us today with some encouraging words for families on how to help animals in their own communities. Stay with us. Welcome to the Moms for America podcast. Each week, special guests tackle the issues facing the moms of America today. Discussions include personal stories and advice on how moms can build a strong foundation of faith, family, and freedom in their homes and country. Hi, moms. I'm Debbie Carolitis, your host, and welcome to the Moms for America podcast. We're so glad that you're here again this week. We love you, moms. Right? Every week we gather together to inspire, encourage, and educate moms in their journey through motherhood. All right, on to today's program. Well, moms, as we know, the top request from our kids is often, can we get a puppy? Can we get a kitten or some other type of pet? I think personally, my family has owned just about every type of pet underneath the sun, from dogs to cats to rabbits, just about everything we've had over the years with our kids because kids love to have pets. But we also know that they are an investment. Inflation today is affecting everything, unfortunately, including pet food and veterinary care. 91% of people say that they have experienced some degree of financial stress in the past year related to the cost of pets. And that, unfortunately, that has caused a record number of surrenders to shelters. Lori Simmons is the founder and president of Big Dog Ranch Rescue in Florida. It's the largest cage-free, no-kill dog rescue in the United States. It's amazing. Welcome, Lori, to the Moms for America podcast. I'm so glad to have you joining us today.
Well, I am thrilled to be here, and I absolutely love what Moms for America has done with all of your grassroots efforts and making our country better for our children and what they learn. So, big fan.
Thank you. We met at an event and we just had a lot in common because, yes, we're both patriots, we're both moms, we're dog lovers, and just really concerned about the future of America. And you are just such an interesting woman. I can't wait for our audience to meet you here. But first, tell us a little bit about your family. We always love to know about everybody's family.
Well, I'm a mom of 3 grown sons, Cheney, Shane, and Kyle. My oldest is 43 and my youngest is 37. And I have 7 beautiful grandchildren. And the other family members, of course, are our pets.
It all comes back to the pets, doesn't it? I mean, everywhere you go, it's so funny. You wouldn't realize that everyone is just so crazy about their pets, usually. But tell me, you've always been a dog lover. Is that where all this began?
We've always had numerous dogs growing up in my family. And as I was raising my 3 sons, we had a minimum of 2 dogs that were family members also. And my sons got a Weimaraner, and unfortunately we had a contract with the breeder that it had to get its championship. And so I had to take it to the dog shows every other weekend while they trotted it around the ring to get its points and win its championship. And I was asked to help out with rescuing Weimaraners in South Florida. I literally had no idea, being busy running my building company and my interior design firm. And
right, because you were a very successful entrepreneur at this point.
Yes, I had 2 very successful companies with Simmons Building and Simmons Interiors, and built upper end homes for millionaires and billionaires, and I had 9 designers working for me in my design firm, and literally had no idea
Well, you were busy.
how
You were
many
busy doing
dogs.
your thing. And like God always does, he just dropped something new that he would like us to get involved with. And you ran full force.
I was going 100 miles an hour with my businesses and and raising my three sons
Right?
and getting into dog rescue with was a real eye opener for me when I picked up my first dog at Miami-Dade Animal Services. And I realized how many dogs, innocent family pets, were in overcrowded shelters and being euthanized. My life changed, my mission changed, and
Mm.
I made a promise to all those dogs that we're sitting in the shelters. I will someday end this. And I've been fighting every day since.
So you get, I guess, just kind of educated about really the culture of dogs that are in the shelters and really kind of the hopelessness of it. And then, through this experience, you decide to open up your own shelter.
I did. Like I said, when I went to the first
Right.
pickup to as a volunteer for Weimaraner Rescue
Yeah.
and saw all of these dogs, kennel cards getting pulled and was told they were out of time at the shelter, they were going to be euthanized. I said, this isn't right. These wonderful adoptable family pets shouldn't be dying due to
Right.
lack of space or resources in overcrowded shelters.
Hmm.
And we need to save their lives. We need to do something about it.
But
So,
Lori, most people, right? They maybe adopt a dog or they foster a dog or they, volunteer. Usually people just don't start their own shelter. That's what I want to hear about. How did you then go from I want to help to literally starting a shelter? What did that look
well,
like?
that day, I planned on picking up one Weimaraner. There were 14 other dogs going to be euthanized that evening. And I said, I'll take them all. I put them all in my
This is
Suburban,
such a great story.
called my husband and told him everything's got to come out of the garage. Please move all the cars, jet skis, everything out of the garage. I need the garage is empty, the air conditions turned on by the time I get home in an hour. He thought I had, he asked me why. I told him, just do it.
Right.
And of course he didn't. I got there and still had 14 dogs in my car, but I prayed all the way home. I'm like, oh my God, please don't get in a dog fight. We've got an hour and a half drive home. And
And
somehow
that began the Big Dog Ranch.
that began the Big Dog Ranch Rescue.
I mean, can you believe that? So your husband, when you come home with this, by the way, I think you've been married a long time with your husband, right?
44 years.
Yeah, and he still stayed with you after all that. He
He
didn't.
still stayed with me, and he loves what I do. He understands. He cries with me at night when he sees the massive amount of euthanasia lists that get emailed to
Ugh,
me, and he's jealous of the time that 80 hours a week that I put into my free job of saving lives. My kids are too, but they fully support it. They understand why I do it, and dogs' lives are on the line, and we have a
yeah.
big mission to get the word out there.
Well, let's talk about the mission of Big Dog Ranch and really your passion because we all, as moms, I'm just like bringing this down to my home. We've adopted our last two dogs from the shelter here, and we love them. I just got a Rottweiler just 6 months ago, and she's beautiful. And we got a call and said, "Would you like to take her?" I mean, families love pets. Children love pets. I mean, I think we've had every pet under the sun here. And I love that for my kids because that experience helps them on so many levels and it's just great companionship for the family. So saving pets and dogs and animals and really trying to figure out a hope for them, hope for their future. You just then took this and you ran with it. Tell us about the mission of and what you're trying to educate people with through the Big Dog Ranch, which is also a small dog ranch, from what I understand, big and small.
Big and small, we save them all.
Aw.
So our mission here at Big Dog Ranch is to save the dogs from the kill shelters, the stray dogs, the owner surrenders, from ending up into a overcrowded shelter and being euthanized for space. People don't realize how bad it is right now.
Yeah.
It is the worst it's ever been in my, gosh, going on how many years? Almost 20 years of rescuing dogs.
Is
I've
that because the
never,
economy is so bad, or what's the cause of that?
so dogs are entering shelters right now at record numbers. Back in 2020, I saw a light at the end of the tunnel. There were less than 2 million pets, cats and dogs, entering shelters throughout the entire country. That was the lowest it had ever been in history. And dogs were getting adopted, were getting rescued.
And
Um,
why was that? Because of the pandemic,
so
because people were
only
home?
2 million animals in the whole country were being euthanized for
Okay.
space or overcrowding or treatable medical conditions that,
Mhm.
shelters couldn't do. Now it's well over 10 million. Last year it was 8 million. This year they're estimating it to be 10 million. It's economy based.
Yeah.
The past few years under the Biden-Harris economics,
Hmm.
people are suffering and they're having to make really tough decisions whether to put food on the table for their families or feed or care for their dog. The other thing, rents and housing costs have gone up so much under this administration, due to inflation. People are downsizing.
Oh,
And
right,
when they
right.
move from a larger place to a smaller place, a lot of the landlords won't accommodate pets,
Sure, that
or
makes sense. So
they
you say
just
that.
flat can't afford a $1,500 to $2,500 pet deposit.
Yeah. I mean, all these things factor into family life, right? Like you said, even you downsize, you go to an apartment, they're not going to let you have a dog. You might have two or three dogs. And what do you do with them? What do you do with those pets? Where do you put them? And I know that's always so much stress on a family if they've got to rehome their pets. You're saying back in during the pandemic, I remember so many of our friends adopted dogs because everybody was home then. But
It was
then,
it it was the best year for adoptions, but also people weren't financially suffering
hmm,
during those years, that period, like they are now trying to make ends meet. Um, we have had very, very few COVID owner surrenders. People are trying to blame it on COVID. Adoptions, that's not the case.
okay, good.
We've had very few people that adopted during COVID surrender their pets because they went back to work.
Okay.
Dogs are being surrendered because people can't afford to care for them, to feed
Mm,
them, to provide veterinary care for them. So owner surrenders right now throughout the country are up 70%.
wow.
Even in the Northeast, shelters that were empty that we used to send rescues from the South to the Northeast because their shelters were empty, they're experiencing a tremendous amount of owner surrenders, therefore not being able to help out the Southern transports as much.
Wow.
But every shelter I go to, I interview, I talk to, they're seeing so many people owner surrendering their pets due to economic reasons.
Mhm.
And it's just been going up and up and up every
Mhm.
year since 2020.
I think we
2020,
can, I was just gonna say, I think we can all relate to that. I mean, even, if you've had a puppy, a dog, a cat, you know that they get sick, you know that there's issues. Both actually this past year, I've really put quite a bit of money into our doggies too, because they needed well care, health care. They were sick.
well, everything's gone up. From dog food is up 45%. Housing
Wow.
costs have gone up 30%. Of
Hmm.
course, fuel to, heat your
That's
home,
tough.
uh, put fuel in your car, everything's gone up. And it's really, really sad that the dogs have become the victims. And we're not seeing as many cats have not increased on being owner surrendered to shelters. It's mostly dogs, but cats are easy. They require less food. They can be inside, outside cats. They require less vet care. So we're
Mm-hmm.
not seeing an increase in cats. What we're seeing is a 70% increase of dogs entering shelters due to economic downturn in the past few years' economy.
What can we do when you hear these stats and you realize, you know, I guess all of us have more room in our heart and our home, for a furry one. But what is some of your advice to the moms how they can help
Well, we
place?
are
And
just
there's adoption and then there's
yeah,
fostering. Let's talk about all that.
we are getting ready to launch a national awareness campaign
Good.
because being in rescue and talking to people every day, everywhere I go, 85% of America has no idea how many wonderful family adoptable dogs, pets, are sitting in a county shelter, a
Mm-hmm.
rural shelter, city shelter. And these shelters are so over capacity. When
Right.
they have 40 kennels and you have 50 dogs coming in a
Mm-hmm.
day, and they don't want to kill dogs. They have no choice. They don't have the space and the resources. And it's kind of brushed under the rug about how many dogs are euthanized in your own community, in your own backyard,
Sure.
because it's certainly not a happy subject.
No.
It's not something a mayor is going to win a re-election telling people, or a sheriff that runs the county shelter is going to get brownie points for. And
Mm-hmm.
shelter directors, shelter workers that work in these counties, shelters that are receiving all these strays and owner surrenders and
Mm-hmm.
abandoned animals,
Right.
that bring these dogs in and care for them, and they pray every day
Right.
these dogs are going to make it out alive. But the sad reality right now, their chances of making it out alive are maybe 40, 50%,
Mm.
especially in the South.
Well, I think you're going to inspire a lot of moms as we're listening because both of our dogs, I mentioned that, but they were both abandoned. They were both found on the street. In fact, one of our dogs was in such bad condition and we put a lot of, just love and care into her because is that's what's happening? Is people just letting them go?
Well, when the shelters are full and they say we can't, we've closed intake, we're so full, we've got, and
Mm,
most county ordinances require them to hold a stray for 5 days
hmm.
for an owner to either find it, reclaim it if they were
Right.
out of town and the neighbor was watching it, it got loose or whatever. Owner surrenders if that shelter's full. And a lot of them are truthful with telling the people, we're full. We
Right.
have to hold the strays by county ordinance 5 days.
Hmm.
Most likely your dog is going to be euthanized either today or tomorrow because we don't have a kennel open to put it in. Most people are not aware this is happening in their own community and
Right.
their own backyard. And that's what I want to do, this awareness campaign, just like you're doing with Moms for America, is getting the word out, what you've done. We need to let dog loving, pet loving Americans know how they can make a difference, how they can get involved in their own communities, their own shelters.
Hmm.
Go volunteer, just photographing dogs for the shelter, helping put them on websites, Adopt a
Mm, right.
Pet
That's how we found
Finder,
ours. Yeah.
taking them out to uh, an adoption event, to put
Yeah.
them in front of people's eyes. And, we need to start telling the truth and not sweeping this problem under the rug, because so many people care about dogs as part of their family.
Yes.
And if they knew this was happening, how
Hmm.
many innocent, wonderful dogs are dying? I just feel like millions of doers will get involved,
Hmm.
to go out and make a difference, whether it's attending an adoption event, promoting a dog, going out, helping, volunteering at the shelter, fostering a dog.
Fostering,
Because a
right.
dog that may be on its last day spend there 2 days because it was an owner surrender is out of time. You taking it into your home, fostering that dog and promoting it keeps it from being euthanized.
Yeah, we fostered
Um,
kitties at one time, a mom and her kittens, and that just kind of got them to the next level so they could actually be adopted. So fostering is an important, and that's temporary, but it's a temporary
it's
help.
it's really important because the other great thing about it is the foster learns the habits of the dogs. It can help with housebreaking or
Oh,
whatever,
right.
minor issues that had. It can tell the dog story. Hey, it was great with my kids, great with my other dogs, easy to walk on a leash, all the stuff the shelters, county shelters don't have time for. Big Dog Ranch is very different. We are a rescue that takes these dogs on their last day at shelters before they're euthanized. We intake owner surrenders when shelters are full, or people would, of course, rather them come here to Big Dog Ranch. Um, I
Right.
designed this facility for a happy place for the dogs to be while they're waiting for that to find that forever home. I designed it to be a family friendly place because so many people would tell me, I can't go to a shelter, it's just too sad. So we took the sad out of it here at Big Dog Ranch.
You have to explain
Um,
it to us because you told me all about it when I met you in person.
yeah,
So, I
so
mean,
we
it's
have
it's a
we
lot
have
different than going to the dog pound,
It's very
right?
different than
Yeah.
going to the normal dog pound or
Yeah.
dog shelter. It's a 33-acre, our Palm Beach County facility, 33-acre cage-free facility, very ranch orientated, a lot of separate buildings. The dogs live in 12 by 12 cage-free bunk rooms, like a bedroom. Each bunk room has a door that goes out to one of our 4 half-acre play yards with swimming pools. The rooms have murals in them, so it's
They
interesting
get a
if someone
massage. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
they they get it's a whole different environment. We have 20
Beautiful.
puppy cabins, so we take a lot of moms, mom dogs that are pregnant or moms with nursing litters
Mm,
from kill shelters and that were abandoned out in the woods or on the side of the street or owner surrendered because unplanned litter from lack of spaying and neutering. And
right.
they're very vulnerable. Like a newborn baby is vulnerable because they have no immunity. Puppies have no immunities until they've had 3 sets of vaccines. So we get these vulnerable moms and babies. The babies have no chance of surviving in a shelter. One,
Oh.
they can't hold them 8 weeks. They don't have the
Mm.
staff or the space for that.
Oh,
Two,
okay.
if they're there more than a few days, they're going to get parvo disease or kennel cough and not survive. So we race to get them out, get them in our puppy cabins where they have their own 12 by 14 cabin, their own 12 by 24 play yard,
I
no
love it.
exposure to any other animals. And we give the moms a safe place to raise their puppies. And
So nice. So
yeah,
nice.
until they're old enough for us to spay and neuter and find their forever homes.
All right, moms, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more with Lori Simmons from the Big Dog Ranch Rescue. Stay with us. Hi, moms. I'm excited to share some news about our new sponsor, the Herzog Foundation. We know you're passionate about raising patriots and empowering your children with the best education possible. And the Herzog Foundation shares that passion. They're dedicated to promoting liberty through education freedom and helping parents like you choose the best educational path. They offer a powerhouse of resources designed to support families and schools alike. Whether you're ready to dive in headfirst to the world of education or simply looking for more ways to empower your child's learning. From free training events to their must read online publication, The Lion, they're committed to keeping you informed about what's happening in education. Also, if you've ever thought, moms, about starting your own Christian school or co op, their School Box online course will give you everything you need to get started on the right foot. Again, we are so proud to partner with the Herzog Foundation, and we encourage you to explore all their amazing tools and the insights that they offer. So go ahead, visit herzogfoundation.com to learn more. You won't want to miss these incredible resources. Again, find it all out at herzogfoundation.com.
You know, I've never really felt comfortable sharing pictures of my kids on social media. Then I found Tuvu, a premium social app with an actual, authentic community. No bots, no one trolling me or my family. Just clean, wholesome content you can trust.
Welcome back, moms. And before we jump back into that interview with Lori Simmons from Big Dog Ranch Rescue, I would like to remind you to like, subscribe, and share our podcast. This is how we get our information out and our great guests and all of their wonderful ideas and accomplishments that they're doing. So please go ahead, like, share, and subscribe this podcast. Also, if you have an idea or a topic that you'd like to suggest for the podcast, would you please email me at podcast@momsforamerica.net. I would love to hear from you. Lastly, I also want to invite all of our moms that are listening. If you are not a part of our movement, please join us here at Moms for America. It's moms like us all across the country, uniting for faith, family, freedom, and the Constitution. We are moms fighting for our children, their future, and our country. So please join us. We have incredible information at momsforamerica.us. I always say this to everyone. We are the ultimate support group for moms. Everything that happens in your home, at your kitchen table, in your community, we have all kinds of resources available for you. momsforamerica.us. So how does someone find their forever home? They go online, they look at the pictures. Tell us about that.
On our website, bigdogranchrescue.org or shortened BDRR.org, all our adoptable dogs and puppies are listed. The puppies don't go on until they're 8 weeks, but people can start viewing them at 6 weeks on site. We have, between foster dogs locally and dogs in our facility, we have 800 dogs in our Palm Beach County facility here. We have another facility in Alabama, which we just opened 2 years ago. We have over 650 dogs there. Probably 200 of them are puppies under 8 weeks. And
Incredible.
we're partnering with a group in Texas to build a third facility, and hopefully one starting in in Tennessee next year.
Incredible. Wow. I know our moms are like, I'm going to check all this out. If they can't get to you, they'll get to their locals. But I also want to have you talk a little bit about when we're considering adopting, going to a shelter, what are some things we need to consider for our family? Like what type of dog, when we're home, if we have a fence. I was just trying to think of some of the things that are some nice advice that you would like to give our moms when they're looking at adopting.
Well, matching up the family or the person with the right dog is energy level. Are you a runner? Then you can take a Weimaraner or a Border Collie that can run with you 5 times a day or play fetch. If you're a couch potato, you might want a little bit older dog that's calmer and just wants to sit in your lap or beside you on the couch.
Right.
Making sure when you have young kids that the dog is tail waggy and happy and, introducing your children, seeing how the dog reacts around the child. Some that have never been around young children might be a little leery. So the nice part about going to a rescue, we've had our dogs for a minimum of 3 weeks before they go up for adoption. We bring them in from the county shelters, from the strays, wherever. They all go to quarantine buildings. At that time, it gives us that 2 weeks.
A chance, right.
Veterinarian is assessing all their medical needs, whether they came in with kennel cough or they've got, broken leg that we're fixing or heartworm disease that we're treating. We've gotten to know the personality of that dog. And while we may not be 100% accurate, we're a good 99% in knowing the temperament of that dog. So that's the great part about going to a rescue.
Right.
You know,
They know.
county shelters too, you just got to spend the time and get to know the
Right.
dog.
I would say that's true because anytime we did our dogs, they were able to really give us good insight,
Yep.
which is very
And it's
helpful.
really important that you
Yeah.
get the right match for your family.
Right.
And you know, some dogs that aren't so great with other dogs, they can do great in a home where the person doesn't have their friends' dogs come over. They don't care about going to a dog park. The dog may be dog selective, maybe it was attacked as a puppy or something traumatic happened. Can still be a great dog, just not the right dog,
Mhm.
you know, for that family that wants to take their dog to a dog park or on
Right. Because then
outings.
right, Lori, you don't want to be caught back up and surrendering the pet again.
No, and that's really at a county shelter, that's a death sentence for the
Mhm.
dog. If it comes back and there was a problem, they're probably the first to be euthanized. So,
Mm,
but you know, if everybody knew, if everybody got involved in helping in some way to
mhm.
solve this problem, and I fully believe through education, sterilization with mass sterilization to stop these unwanted litters from being born.
Right. Spay and neuter. Right.
Legislation with,
What about legislation?
well, we had a bill a couple years ago try to go through, you know, the Florida House and Senate, and we're really far along with it. And it was basically making anybody that wanted to sell puppies get a license. And in order to
Mm,
get a license, you had to be
okay.
inspected. So you open a beauty salon, you open a restaurant, you open a real estate office, you have to have an inspector come out, make sure you meet all the
Sure.
guidelines
Sure.
before you are able to get a business license. That's not the case everywhere with people
Mm,
selling puppies. And what we're seeing is breeders only breeding for the benefit of dollars in their own pockets at the sacrifice of these animals. And
mm.
just even in our own community here in Western Palm Beach County, every day when I'm coming to Big Dog Ranch, I see the signs out there saying golden doodle puppies for sale, Frenchies
Sure.
for sale, this for sale. You know,
Sure.
I send people in to see these dogs. They're living in outside filthy pens, they're living in dirty
Mm,
barns. The
right.
puppies are full of worms. They've had no vaccines and they're selling them for $400-500. They're selling
Yeah.
them out of the back of their pickup truck at the Walmart parking lot.
Sure.
Um,
So
it's
legislation is very important
very
because, like you
important. There
said,
needs
yeah.
to be
Thank you
strict
for championing that,
guidelines
Lori.
for
Yeah.
humane care
Right.
of these puppies and these moms that are just bred every 6 months until they can barely stand up and
Right.
it
Terrible.
no, you know, they don't care at all about the animals. They care about money in their pocket. And the
Sure.
backyard breeders are what we need to stop.
Okay.
The good breeders, we want purebreds. We want good breeders that care for their dogs. They're humanely housed. They're not bred every year. They're not overbred. They're, you know, vetting the buyer and taking their dogs back if there's a problem and doing it right.
Okay.
We want that. We want that
Sure.
to continue.
Right.
And they should have no problem wanting to have an inspection and be properly licensed if they're doing it right.
Correct.
It's the ones that aren't doing it right that are adding to dogs entering shelters that we need
Mm,
to shut down. The puppy mills, the bad
right.
backyard breeders.
Right.
So
So,
legislation, that's one
mhm.
way. The other thing is somehow getting landlords and homeowners associations to stop breed restrictions. I mean,
Mm,
the pit bull, the German Shepherd, the Doberman, so many are restricted from homeowners associations, and it shouldn't be
I
judged
didn't
on
even
the,
know that.
oh, so many people give up their pets because they're moving into a homeowners association, even if they're renting, and they exclude pit
Wow.
bulls, shepherds, Rottweilers,
Yeah, that's what I have
Doberman,
yeah,
yeah,
I have a
all kind of
Rottweiler.
breeds.
Hmm.
Um,
Wow.
So it shouldn't be judged on the breed. It should be judged on the dog. So I
Correct.
would love to introduce legislation
That's another great
and
idea. Yeah.
with a canine good citizen test where they've been evaluated by a trainer. And we're
Okay.
starting to do that here.
That's a great idea. Great
We're
idea.
adding that program into our veteran dog training program that we do here with rescue dogs for training dogs for veterans with severe disabilities and PTSD.
I
And
love it.
then we're very successful with that, with changing lives for these veterans and also giving the dog a purpose,
Hmm.
that was rescued.
Well, right. You hear this a lot with the veterans, getting a dog, a partner, companion, to care for them and just brighten up their day, along with senior citizens. I mean, they bring they bring dogs into the nursing homes, right? I mean, just the dogs are a great companion. They do bring
Dogs
a lot of,
are an incredible healer, and we've seen that. We've
yeah,
now trained successfully 160 dogs for veterans with
I love that.
severe disabilities or PTSD, and they're full
That's so
service
good.
dogs. And the change it's made in their lives, the thank yous we get from them, their families, to see these veterans who wouldn't come out of their house entering society again. And, they keep coming back
It's
to
the
see
best.
us, and the joyful stories just keeps us pushing forward. We're
Hmm.
actually expanding that program right now. We're building the new Langone Patriot Pet Boarding Facility to expand our veteran dog training to double the amount we can do each year. And they'll also
I
give us
love this.
the room to do these canine good citizen training. So people, and hopefully we can get legislation through where homeowners associations, landlords will not restrict these breeds with these dogs.
I got it. Oh,
And
wow.
going back to seniors,
You're doing some incredible things over there, Lori.
we have a senior sanctuary where you're talking about seniors, um, where senior dogs roam. They live free in a 6-bedroom house. A couple of our veterinary technicians live there at night. A couple of our kennel technicians that work here during the day. And then we have special staff that cares for them. And that's for dogs, 8 and older that still have a lot of spunk in their life, but
Mm.
they need extra care. And we have a program for senior citizens that are lonely, have lost their
Yes.
pet, have lost their significant other,
Right.
live
Their husband, their
alone,
wife. Yeah.
giving them a pet and providing them the resources. The vet care will do for them free. They need us to deliver food if they're not able, but if they're able to have that senior dog sit next to them every day, give them a
So
reason to
good.
get out of bed, take a
Yes.
walk, something to keep them company. It makes a world of difference
Sure
in their
does.
lives.
Absolutely. Like you said, dogs are a healer and they are really a man's best friend. There is nothing, boy, their life is you, right? The
Yeah,
dog's life is
100%.
you. That's
They
it. That's all
live
they're
they
focused on.
live
They
for
live for
their
you.
owners. And it's so sad. We picked up a dog yesterday that had been sitting, that was dumped down in
Mhm.
Hialeah on the side of the road. People saw the guy dump the dog, and it sat there for 3 days. It would not move. Everybody tried to come get the dog, and it kept thinking that owner was left me here.
Coming
I'm going to stay
back.
here till he comes back to get me. And, it was
Yeah.
opened his back seat, threw the dog off, took off, clearly dumped. We see that daily. And
Hmm.
these dogs, they would,
Stuff.
yeah, it's horrible. We had one brought to us last Friday, put a garbage can. The guy picking up the garbage truck ran it to us. Will brought his garbage truck in, ran us in this dog, and said, I was picking up a trash can, getting ready to dump it, heard the dog, and he brought
Ah,
it to us. The dog was dehydrated. So, it
there's a lot of states.
a
It makes me think of with
lot
the
of
hurricane
abuse.
run right now too, right? when those hurricanes hit in Florida and the Carolinas and all the dogs that would be homeless there because of
We were up
disasters.
there within 3 days in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And shelters, dogs that were already in shelters. We cleared out space for the incoming stray dogs.
Yeah.
We had owners showing up at our bus saying, I've lost everything in my home. My home is totally destroyed. I don't know where I'm going. I've nowhere to care for this dog. We offered them to keep their dog for them for free until they got back on their feet. And so many of these people were so devastated. They said, we don't know when that's going to be. We have lost everything, our cars, our home, all our
Incredible.
furniture, our possessions. We just want you to go, please take our dog.
And you took them.
And, you know, one of them was the cutest pair of poodles that was handed to me. And my heart just broke for them. Both their cars were destroyed, their home.
Oh man, such
we
tough
stayed-
stories. Devastating.
We made 3 trips up there to bring supplies, not only for people, but for families that, you know, had no way to
I
stay.
saw this on your website. Yeah, incredible.
Or, you know, dogs for outside igloos for people that's dogs live outside to keep warm. We do a lot of hurricane efforts. We're
Mhm.
usually one of the first on the grounds. And we were up in North Carolina on our 3rd trip up there when Milton hit Florida. So then we refocused on
I know you were
helping Florida,
really doing
but
great work
yeah,
there with
dogs
rescuing.
suffer during disasters and crises because people, you know, are devastated with their loss.
Sure.
And they don't know where to turn. So having a rescue to go to take their dog or even hold their dog for them, you know, is what we're about here at Big Dog Ranch, is
Mhm.
helping
Give us a
people.
website there to Big Dog Ranch, so make sure that everybody gets a chance to check it out. I know not everybody lives in Florida, but just to see what you're doing, they may want to donate, they want to support. We're always looking, you know, our moms are always looking to help.
Well, we survive on donations. We couldn't rescue 7,000 dogs a year. We've so far
Absolutely.
rescued over 71,000 dogs since
Mhm.
we started. We operate 100% on donations.
I know.
We also would love to guide you to make a difference in your community.
Mhm.
So you can go to our website at bdrr.org. That's initials for Big Dog Ranch Rescue.org. Either one will get you there. Get involved, make a difference. So many wonderful adoptable family pets are
Mhm.
being euthanized in overcrowded county shelters. Us
What does that
rescues,
conversation, what does that conversation look like, Lori, at the kitchen table with a family about this topic and maybe adopting? Let's close with those words of advice for our moms. And maybe this is something that everybody has, you know, this month they kind of get together as a family and say, we like to go above and beyond a little bit. Give some advice to the moms on how to
if you
handle
can
this with
open
their
up
family.
your home to foster or adopt a dog, there are so many wonderful adoptable precious dogs out there on death row in county shelters. Us rescues are trying to keep up, but there's just way too many.
Mhm.
So by going to your county shelter, finding a rescue, or come to Big Dog Ranch website, we deliver anywhere throughout the US.
Oh yeah.
From Chihuahuas to Great Danes to everything in between, to mixed breeds, to puppies, to seniors. There's a match out there waiting for that chance to be part of your family or just to live when they're on death row at a county shelter. So think about adopting, adding another family member. It'll bring a lot of joy to you. The dogs will bring a lot of love to your family. You're not saving just one life, you're saving 2 because you're opening up a spot for another dog in need to come in.
Ah, Lori, you are amazing. I know, I'm going to come out and see that Big Dog Ranch when I'm in Florida.
Well, I welcome all of you to come see it. What we've built here is a different kind of
Beautiful.
shelter. We're not a
Yes.
shelter, we're a rescue, but it's quite different and definitely a
Good
wonderful
work.
place to bring your family.
Good work and very inspiring. And yes, we as moms, you know this, Lori, and as I'm talking to the moms, we're the ones that always bring up topics like this. It's not usually your husbands,
Absolutely.
right? It's the moms.
Moms are the ones that make a difference. And like I said, I'm so honored to be on your podcast. I'm so honored to be associated with Moms of America and all the great work you do.
Thank you.
Not only do my grandchildren benefit from the work that you do, and I'm out there saving dogs, so get involved. They're needing help more than ever right now.
Yeah.
So go to bdrr.org and get involved. We'd love to
Yes.
have you join the rescue family.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lori, and God bless you and your team and all those pups out there. Thank you for doing such good work and making a difference, boy. This is something all of us really need to kind of just give a second thought to. Open up our hearts and our homes for another puppy.
Thank you
Doggy.
so much.
All right. Thanks, Lori.
Okay, one dog at a time.
That's it. Thanks again, Lori. Wow. I just loved today's discussion because it was something different and it's something that affects all of our homes. Pets, dogs, cats. How do we bring them into our home? How do we kind of spread the love? How do we save them and make a difference in our community? So thanks, Lori. Thanks for what you're doing there. And to you moms, consider this. Have a discussion at home and see if you can bring another furry friend into your family. All right, moms, always here at the end of the show, I thank everyone for joining us. I do ask you to please share this podcast, join, like, and subscribe. Also join us here at Moms for America. We are here every week, every day with every week with the podcast, but every day with resources on our website. You go to momsforamerica.us, you sign up for our newsletter, and you can check out all our amazing programs and incredible resources from webinars to seminars, from booklets to everything you can imagine that would help you on your journey through motherhood. Again, that's momsforamerica.us. We say this always because we have everything from parental rights to public policy, from the kitchen table to Congress. Moms for America is here to help you. All right, moms, I can't wait to see you next week. And as always, let's keep changing our country one home at a time. I'll see you soon. A special thank you to our sponsors, the Herzog Foundation and Tuvu. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Herzog Foundation.